Assalamualaikum and greetings to our lecturer and to Ustazali. My name is WAFA NAQIBAH and I also have the other presenter who is DHIA, AYUNI and AMNI. First of all, I would like to say thank you for guiding us in order for us to finish this project. For this project, we had an interview of business where the objectivity is to gain the information about the business and also about the business accounting such as capital, liabilities, asset and so on. So, let's get started to our presentation.
In this video, we get to know the business background, the business characteristic, the classification of the item for the business, and the recording process of business, strength and weakness, and lastly, conclusion. The business we choose for our presentation is the Upper Cafe, a cozy and visually appealing cafe that operates as a sole proprietorship. The cafe specializes in serving Western food and beverage, offering a comfortable and stylish environment where customers can enjoy delicious meals. It is located at Jalan Temenggung, Kampung Bandar Kaba, Melaka. This strategic location attracts both locals and tourists as it is close to popular attractions and busy areas in Melaka, making it an ideal spot for a cafe. The Upper Cafe was established in early 2020 during the beginning of the COVID-19 pandemic. Starting a business during such a challenging time was not easy, but the cafe quickly stood out because of its unique and Instagrammable design. The founder, Tai Chun Lam, is an experienced animator and designer. His background helped him to create a cafe that is not only functional but also beautiful and stylish. The aesthetic atmosphere is a big part of what makes the cafe popular among the customers, especially those who enjoy taking photos and spending time in visually pleasing spaces. To start the business, the founder used 250,000 from his personal savings, which he had earned while working in Singapore before. His vision was to create a cafe that will attract younger customers and middle-aged adults. This group appreciates the trendy and Instagrammable environment of the cafe. Since the dining area is upstairs, it is particularly suitable for younger, more active customers too, who don't mind climbing stairs. In addition to create an attractive space, the founder focuses on effective marketing to grow the business. He relies heavily on social media to promote the cafe, such as the platforms of Instagram and Facebook allows him to reach a wide audience. By sharing photos of the cafe's design, food and beverages, he has been able to attract new customers and increase sales. Social media marketing has proven to be one of the best ways to spread awareness about the cafe, especially since it matches the cafe's trendy and modern image. With its great location, stylish atmosphere, delicious menu, and strong online presence, the Upper Cafe has become a favorite spot for both locals and tourists. Despite the challenges of starting during the pandemic, the cafe has managed to grow and gain loyal customers. Let's move on to the business characteristics. Where the Upper Cafe, first characteristics is registration. The Upper Cafe is registered under Suruhanjaya Syarikat Malaysia SSM, which proves and acts as the acknowledgement that the cafe has been legitimate and had been legally registered. The second point is management and control. In sole proprietorship type of business, the owner have complete authority and power of the business and he is entitled to control all of the management decisions. The owner are also referred as manager and controller of its own business. Through effective management, he controls everything, including resources, both human and material, business operation, and he also makes a better decision. To prove the environment, next is ownership. For sole proprietorship type of business, it is only owned by one owner. As for the cafe, it was established and owned by Mr. Tai Chon Lang. Next, moving on to the next point, which is profit or loss. For the sole proprietorship type of business, they does not share its business profits, and any losses will be incurred and borne by the owner. For the upper cafe, they have the option of receiving itself a higher salary or income from its own profits. This is in order in investing more money back into the business operation. This is because the owner must make sure he gets all of their profits, as he is responsible for the next business revenue. The last characteristics is capital. The capital is fully contributed by the owner. The upper cafe starts with the capital of 250,000 ringgit to cover the business expenses as of building, equipment like coffee machine, and more. Capital shows how money will be acquired. For example, where the capital will come from. The upper cafe for the capital resources for a sole proprietorship type of business might comes from his own personal saving, family, his friends, or maybe financial institutions. Meanwhile, the upper cafe's capital comes 100% from the owner's own contribution.
Hi, today I will talk about the business item for the upper cafe. Before we start, I will explain about the business item. Let's start with asset. Assets are resources owned by a business that are expected to bring future economic benefits. They also can be classified as current assets and also non-current assets. Current assets is a short-term resources like cash, account receivable, and inventory, which are expected to be converted into cash or used within a year. Non-current assets are long-term resources like property, equipment, and intangible assets such as patents. Assets are crucial in that they facilitate the earning of revenue in a company, sustain the operation, and create value return. Assets that been used in the upper cafe is coffee machine, account receivable, and inventory. Next is liabilities. We show what the business owes the other. This may be in terms of money, goods, or even services that are to be paid or rendered. Liabilities can also be classified as current liabilities and non-current liabilities. Current liabilities are a short-term debts that fall due within a year, such as account payable and short-term loans. Non-current liabilities are long-term debts, such as mortgage or bonds payable. The management of liabilities is very important, since failure to meet such obligation may affect the financial stability of the company. The liabilities that the upper cafe have is a long-term loan. Now, let's talk about owner equity. It is a residual interest of the owner in the business, which is the difference between the assets and liabilities of a company. It includes contribute capital and retained earnings. Contribute capital is the amount invested by the owner or shareholder. Retained earnings are the portion of benefit that has not been distributed as dividends but instead reinvested in the business. Owner equity is important because it is an indication of the financial health and value of a business, whether it has more assets than liabilities. The owner of the upper cafe brings his own savings to start the business as a capital. Next is expenses, which are costs incurred in the process of generating revenue. Expense may include salaries, rent, utilities, and cost of goods sold. There are basically two types, operating and non-operating expenses. Operating expenses, these involve day-to-day costs needed to run the business. For example, rent, utilities, and payroll. While non-operating expenses refers to costs that not directly related to core business operation, such as interest of loans. The management of expense is a key to profitability. A business should generate adequate revenue to meet its expenses and leave a net income positive. Finally, there is revenue, which represents the total income derived from normal business activity. It is generally derived from sales merchandise, interest income, rents, and among others. It usually follows the revenue is commonly known as the top line, mainly because it will usually be represented on the very top of the income statement. While revenue is an indication of the business ability to generate money, remember, it does not solely equate to profit. To attain profitability, effective management of expenses has to be considered. In the end, assets, liabilities, own equity, and revenue give a business its general view of financial standing. They get their revenue by selling food and beverages, and also some pastries. That's all from me today. Thank you.
Recording the process of business. Recording process for the accounting company follows this type below. First, source document. Source documents are the physical basis on which business transactions are recorded. Source documents are typically written for use as evidence when auditor later review a company's. They usually contain a distribution of a company transaction, the date of transaction, a specific amount, and authorizing signature. A source document does not have to be a paper document. It can also be electronic. The Alpha Cafe keeps all the documents such as invoice, receipt, and bills into the specific file. Second, journal entries. It's used to record a business transaction in the accounting because of a business. The Upper Cafe have their own accountant that record all the transaction of business at the end of the month. Third, ledger. Ledger is record the account for all assets, liabilities, equity, revenue, and expenses. Next, the trial balance. Trial balance is an accounting report that lists the ending balance in each general ledger account. This means that it states the total of each asset, liability, equity, revenue, expenses, profit, and loss account. The trial balance is important as part of the month and closing process. The report is primarily used to ensure that the total of all debit and all the credit equally, so the accountant of Upper Cafe can manage the cash flow every month. Next, adjustment. An accounting adjustment is a business transaction that has not been included in the accounting because of the business of a specific that most of transactions are eventually recorded through the recordation, for example, a supplier invoice, a customer billing, or the receipt of cash. The Upper Cafe only take bill, electric, and water every month and need to do adjustment month that are not bad as equal. Lastly, financial statement. Financial statements are a collection of summary levels reports about an organization's financial result, financial position, and cash flow that include the income statement, balance sheet, and statement of cash flow.
Strange for small business that hired an accountant to do their recording process are: first, accountant ensure that all financial transactions are recorded correctly, reducing error and maintaining accurate books. Second, accountants use efficient systems and tools to handle financial data quickly and effectively. Lastly, accountants monitor cash flow and outflow. ensuring that the business maintain healthy liquid. Weakness for small business that hired an accountant to do their recording process are: first, if accountant makes mistake or overlook details, the business owner might not notice until it's too late. Second, paying for an accountant adds more operating costs, which can strain finance if not carefully managed. Lastly, if the accountant isn't familiar with the specific needs of the cafe, they may provide generic advice that isn't fully applicable. At the end of the explanation, a sole proprietorship is the simplest form of business ownership, offering ease of setup and complete control over decision making it ideal for individuals starting small ventures. While owner retains all profit, they also bear unlimited liability for debts and losses. Additionally, raising funds or expanding the business can be challenging due to limited access to capital. Sole proprietorship are well suited for small-scale operation and those seeking independence in business. However, entrepreneurs should carefully assess its limitation before committing to this structure for long-term growth.